Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be talking about 4 things that are of importance towards your diet so that you can perform at your peak, especially if you're a sprinter. But this also works if you're just an average athlete as well, whether you're doing football or basketball, whatever you're doing, this also works too. So protein, carbs, junk food, and fat loss. These are the 4 things I'm going to go over. Start with protein. Protein is obviously very important. I don't think I need to tell you how important it is. As sprinters, it's important for 2 reasons though. First of all, would be to build back muscles so they're stronger and you have more muscle. Second thing would be for tendons, because in protein, there's a thing called collagen, which is used to strengthen tendons. And when you understand that majority of sprinting, once you get out of the drive phase, is basically all just tendons. Strengthening your tendons is important, especially if you're doing a lot of plyometric work. If you're doing a lot of plyometric work, if you don't eat enough protein, you're not going to be able to build back your tendons so they're strong enough to not just make you faster, but not get overuse injuries. If you don't eat the right, if your diet is lacking in certain things, it's very easy to get injured. Not even so, if you ever get injured, don't just look at the amount of volume you're doing on the track or in the gym. Look at your diet as well, because your diet is the bulk of where your gains come from. You just break everything down in the track and in the gym, then you strengthen it all back for your diet. So your diet has to be perfect, specifically perfect just for you if you want to perform at your peak. Now, depending on where you are in your season and how high of a level of a sprinter you are, there's a couple of different things you want to focus on with the amount of protein you're taking in. If you're really in your season and like you're actually about to competing properly now, or you're a higher level sprinter, probably don't really need to increase your muscle mass. So the amount of protein you need to take isn't that much. But if you're more lower rung, you still need to strengthen your muscles and specifically your tendons. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna get your weight in kilograms, and then forget the kilograms even exist. So for me, it'd be 80 kilograms, and you're gonna times that by minimum 1.2 and maximum 1.5, roughly 1.5 to 1.6. So for me, 180 times 1.2, I believe that's like 96 grams, which means that's the amount of grams of protein every single day that I want to be taking in. However, it's worth noting that your body can't just consume all of that all at once. So I don't exactly remember the specific amount. I'm probably going to put it in the description, so check that out. But your body is only able to take in, I think, between 20 to 30 grams of protein. Not just, I don't mean take it in because obviously you can take in more, but to directly decompose and use efficiently, the rest will just get excreted. So, for example, for me, I'd break it down into 3 meals of 33 grams of protein roughly each. Because if I do any more than that, I'm just going to be wasting money and protein that I don't even get to consume, just coming in one side and out the next, just like if you eat corn. Now, the next thing would be of importance, what type of protein sources do you want to take in? So I'm not a vegetarian, so I can't really give you any vegetarian stuff, but I am aware there's quite a few, though they're not really that high in protein. Like broccoli's a good one. But if you're a carnivore, a meat eater, then obviously you got the staple ones. So you got eggs, chicken, beef. So you just got eggs, white meat and red meat. For breakfast, eggs is good. It's nice and light and easy to eat. So I like to eat eggs. And then I usually eat chicken for dinner. But it's worth knowing for beef or any red meat that in high quantities, it can be bad for you. So whilst it usually does have more protein than white meat, just make sure that you do juggle around with that, because red meat is quite unhealthy. So you're going to have to just bounce back and forth between red meat. Try to make your diet more focused on red meat and eggs than anything else. Other than that, you can also eat fish, though depending upon your body weight, you're going to have to determine how much fish you're able to eat every single day or every single week because of the mercury content in the fish. For example, I know that because of how high my body weight is, I'm able to eat a tin of tuna every single day and I'd still be within a safe range. So I usually like to eat tuna for lunch, for example. Next would be carbs. So I'm sure you've done some research on carbs. You've heard people hate it, you've heard people like it, you've heard people love it. We are not people. We're not the average person, so we can't listen to the average person. The average person doesn't want to eat carbs because they don't burn them. They don't use up enough energy to burn off the carbs that they consume. Bodybuilders don't want carbs because it's really easy to just give them water weight. So so they don't look as thin and lean as they want to be. We aren't the average person, and we are not bodybuilders. We're athletes. At the end of the day, we're athletes. I want to be putting in the work to burn off all of those carbs. The most important thing, second to protein, would be carbs in your diet, because they are what fuel your body. A couple good example of carbs would be like stuff like potatoes, vegetables as well, you, bread, rice, just anything that just carbs, general ones, ones usually it's just the ones that people just say don't really eat, purely because we're not the average person, like I said, and we actually burn off this energy. And if you don't eat enough carbs, you're not going to be able to perform at your peak. I've made videos before where I went into not really detail, but I slightly went over the importance of making sure your reps whilst you're sprinting is of the highest quality possible. And carbs give you a lot of energy to try, so you can actually use that whilst you're sprinting. If you're not consuming enough carbs, what's going to end up happening is you're going to go out, and let's say you do 560 meters. Yeah, you're going to, like, the first one's probably not going to be the best. It can be all right, but the second and third will probably be really good, but the fourth and fifth won't be very good. What's going to end up happening is a slow time, two fast times, then slow times afterwards. And then your central nervous system is just going to get the average and then make you as fast as that, or maybe slightly faster. And this is the reason why people tend to stagnate in their seasons or get slower, because they're not focusing on the things they're supposed to on their diet, and then the volume's wrong as well. It's just a double whammy. You get screwed over. Now, I'm sure from now you're gonna understand the importance of carbs and you're gonna take it in. So now that we've got the two main things in your diet out of the way, protein and carbs, then the third one would be junk food. You might be thinking I'm saying, okay, dump the junk food. Junk food is bad. And I'm not. You got a lot of elite sprinters that eat fast food like McDonald's. I think Tyson Gay did as well. So junk food isn't bad. And it's a really easy way to get in the protein and the carbs you need. It's quite oily, but at the end of the day, if you really need the fuel and you need it really quickly, fast food is one of the best ways to go. The important thing, though, is making sure that you consume the right types of fast food. There isn't exactly a right type of fast food that I can just say and you just follow it. Like, I can't just say, okay, if you're gonna eat junk food, only eat McDonald's and be done. Because there's a lot of different things that are in junk. There isn't just fast food, there's sweets and chocolate. So the main thing here would be to listen to your body and understand how your body performs at its best. If your body can perform at its best with no junk food, then don't consume junk food. If your body can perform at its best with some junk food, then look at which ones give you the best return ROI, and just consume that. So if that's McDonald's, eat McDonald's. The reason why sweets and chocolate is also in there is because it's a really easy way to get quick bursts of energy. Obviously, you wouldn't really want to do that too often, especially not before a race. But if you're like about to go for training and you don't really feel like you've got the energy, a good one would be like something like Sour Patches, something like that, just to quickly get the energy. Chocolate tend to stay away from, quite easy to get diarrhea from. And if you're about to go and hit the track, I don't have to explain to you what would happen if you're going on the track and then you suddenly feel your stomach start to hurt, because it won't be a very good day for you. That's what I'm gonna say. But just make sure you listen to your body, and you just remove the junk food that your body doesn't respond to and only eat the ones that your body does. Obviously, try to keep it low, but focus more on, when you're eating for your diet, focus more on protein and carbs. Just keep the junk food low. Only eat it if you need to, for whatever reason that is, whether that's time constraints. Actually, it's usually just time constraints, or you're just feeling like it. But just make sure you just pay attention, because there's a lot of times where you'll feel for something sweet, and in reality it's actually just your body telling you need to consume more protein. So make sure you just listen to your body and try to understand what it's trying to tell you. Now, the next thing would be trying to burn fat. So a lot of different ways people say to burn fat, and as an athlete, the only real way to burn fat is just to increase the amount of protein you consume. Reason being is fat builds up purely because it's so low in energy consumption, but muscle isn't, which is why if you stop training, it's quite easy for your muscle just to degrade and disappear, because if you're not using the muscle, your body doesn't want to use it. You won't have it anymore because it's consuming all the energy. So just make sure you continue doing your work, keep your carbs the same, just increase your protein intake, and you'll be able to burn off fat really easily. And the reason why you want to burn fat is because, especially if you're a slow sprinter, like not even sub 12, there's a good chance that form is your problem. So you have a poor drive phase and you have poor top speed, but those are just two factors. The third factor, and the one that you could really easy fix, is probably that your body fat percentage is too high. It's really easy to go sub 12 if you just drop your body fat percentage. That's a really quick way to do it without even fixing your form. You can obviously and would want to fix your form, especially if you want to get faster. But if you want to break sub 12, for most people, the easiest way would just be to lower your body fat percentage down to something like 12% and anything lower. You want to get down to probably no lower than 10 to 9, not even, maybe even 11. It depends on your body again. And yeah, if you just follow that, for your diet, you're just going to be performing at your peak in no time, and you're going to improve so fast you won't even believe it's possible.